And reasons like this is why no one is ever going to make me feel bad about living with my parents. Do you get it? Like, even if I'm like 23, if I want to live with my parents, I'm going to live with my parents. Society's not going to peer pressure me in moving out because I don't see the point of it. If you have the luxury, the privilege to stay at home and live with your parents, take that. Take that, bro. Take that.
Welcome to Let's Glow with Nini. I'm Nini. Let's get straight into this video.
I live at home in my 20s. Of course I don't pay rent.
Of course, she lives at home in her 20s and she thinks that this is the Ritz Carlton.
Yeah, she lives at home and thinks this is a hotel.
She lives at home in her 20s and wants to go shopping whenever she feels like it.
She lives at home, thinks she runs things.
Of course, she lives at home in her 20s and says she's going to cook dinner and then I end up fixing everything.
Of course, she lives at home and she thinks that my downstairs is a hookah lounge.
I really don't think that you young ladies that have the mothers where you're 30 and you're living there, you guys got the home cooked meals, you guys are able to save. I just want to tell you guys from an older woman, honor that shit. Y'all treat those mothers like queens. You hear me? You always uplift them. And if y'all not paying rent and y'all got it like that, I hope y'all buying your mothers gifts and making them feel appreciated. Because let me tell you something. That is a pristine blessing. And really, if y'all are young, honor that. Honor that. Because my mother has always been a bitter. She's very, very intelligent. Masters, the whole nine. But everything on the outside, that glitters, it ain't gold, baby. So I just wanted to tell y'all that. And it got me in tears because I see so many of y'all with good mothers. Y'all better honor that. Because I don't think that y'all understand what you got. Now, I'll start doing videos, but y'all really got something special. And I don't think that a lot of y'all understand it. Cherish and value. If you got a beautiful, spirited mother, y'all better cherish that. Because some of us didn't have that. And we still got older and we struggling mentally, internally, because of mother issues. So y'all cherish that, because that is something just so divine. Grandmothers and mothers, are you supposed to be like this with? My grandmother, she passed. That was my hardest, so it's my grandmother for me. But, and I'm sorry, y'all, they get emotional, but cherish your mother. If y'all have good mothers, cherish them, love them down. All right, y'all, I gotta go.
Let's talk about living at home in your late 20s. First of all, the economy sucks and we are in a cost of living crisis, so all judgment needs to exit stage left immediately. But I'm 29 and I live at home with my parents. I've had my own place. I live with friends. I've lived with my partner. But I'm at home because it truly is the best decision for me at this stage in my life. And while I would love my own place, and I'm planning on doing that very soon, the reality is that living at home is smart, y'all. Living at home is comforting. Living at home for me right now is a blessing. And I'll continue to do that as long as it serves me. And when you really think about it, we are still toddler adults. Like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing out here. And times are different. The market is different. Groceries are different. But somehow salaries are still the same they were 20 years ago. Make it make sense. So I'm taking things one day at a time. And when those things change, so will my address. But for now, here we are.
Everybody can't live as an adult at their parents' house and it go well. So if you have the opportunity to live at home and it's drama free and you can,
and there's an exit strategy.
You can take advantage of that for a short period of time in order to accomplish a goal. I'm all for it. But the key is you've got to have, like George said, an exit strategy. And that involves getting that income as high as possible so that you can take advantage of the fact that you're not having to pay rent and you're not having some of those expenses that go along with having your own place.
I currently live with my parents and I'll probably be living with them for the rest of my life, and so will my siblings. Not one single one of my siblings has moved out of my parents' home. Like, we are all here and I'm the second to youngest. None of us are motivated to pay over $1,000 to live in a shoebox with a bunch of people we don't know when we could be paying a lot less living in this shoebox with our parents. Not only do we have each other to entertain ourselves, like we get to hang out every day, but also if I have an issue, I just go to my mom or I go to my dad. Like, that's so easy. And if I'm ever lazy and I just like want some food, but I don't want to do anything, I could just go to my mom's fridge or see what she's cooking. Like, I'm not struggling. And even though we're super poor, I have a lot of financial freedom because I don't have to put like the majority of my money in rent. If I ever want to quit a job because mentally it's draining or I'm tired or someone's trying me at work, I could do it, and I've done it. And all the people that are like, you're still living at home with your parents? Yes, I am. And I'm not hurt that you said that, because at the end of the day, I get to live the life that I want to live. I can go do all of my hobbies. I can spend all day on my phone, on TikTok. I can like spend my day reading, going to the parks, doing whatever I want, living my life.
And they ask me why I'm okay with living at home at 29 instead of being in my dream apartment in the dream city. The list of reasons goes so long, but one really cute example is I haven't been feeling good this week. So my mom called to check in on me tonight, and she asked me if I wanted anything for dinner. She told me what she was having for dinner, and I was like, no, it's okay. Like, can't really figure it out. She had just left the store. She goes back into the store. She FaceTimes me. She finds me a meal that I would like. It's steak frites from one of our local stores that has like pre-made meals from all these different restaurants around town. And she gets this for me, and she checks to make sure I have my vegetables, and she checks to make sure I have water and my medicine. And she just checks in on me, and she makes sure that I'm so taken care of. And I had a lot of driving to do this morning. I had to do about like 4 hours of driving. So we talked on the phone for majority of that time. So like 75% of my day, I was on the phone with this woman, and she just constantly coaches me and talks me through everything in life. She reminds me that it is okay to still be figuring it out. She reminds me that it'll always work out and that there is no rush. And there really isn't. Like when I asked her, we lost my grandmother about like 4 years ago, and all she ever wishes is that she worked less and spent more time with her. And so when I think about the city and the dreams that I have that are anywhere farther away from her, I just remind myself that that'll all come. The city's not going anywhere, but these times with her in this house are fleeting. And right now, I just heated up my dinner. I'm about to sit on my couch. My best friend lives 4 minutes down the street. She's bringing me either like a Coke Zero or Diet Pepsi from Taco Bell and a little something to garden with. And I just like, she's just doing me. She's been sick all week too, and she's going out of her way to get her food, but she's also making a pit stop for me. And, you know, I don't know. I just want to cherish it. I want to just be here in this moment. I don't want to judge myself for living at home at 29. I don't want to judge myself for not being in the dream apartment that everybody else seems to have. I don't really want to do that anymore. Like, it doesn't do me any justice. I want to embrace my chapter of life and accept it and like be able to thoroughly be present in it, you know, because one day it's all going to change. Nothing's going to look the same. And, I'm really going to miss it. So I'm super emotional, and like today was just such a blessing, and this next few weeks are going to be a really big blessing. So yeah, safe to say I'm very grateful for this meal and that hot piece of steak, hot piece of juicy steak, and so many more things that my mom does for me. But living at home at 29, not to say that everybody's situation is the same, because I know that not all home lives and living situations are enjoyable or manageable, and some people are forced to not be able to live home. But if you have a healthy home life and you're able to spend time with your parents or your caregivers and the people that you love most that are closest to you, then cherish it and value it, because everything that you see on the internet of all these perfect houses and all these perfect lives of these influencers, although it all looks so enticing and I really do want it one day, like I have my dream apartment, of course I do. I have the dream cities that I want to bounce around and live in, of course I do. But for right now, you're here. So be here, because here is great. It really is. So my heart is full. I love you guys. I'm going to go eat this steak and figure out what I want to watch.
Living at home is like literally the most frustrating thing in the world. And like, I feel so ungrateful for like the way that I'm feeling, because I know that I'm like lucky that at least I like have a home to go to after I like left my job. Like, I'm really lucky, but at the same time, like, it just contributes to like so much of like a loss in identity and like a loss in independence. Like, someone is home all the time and I like don't have any privacy and I like don't have like any like spaces to myself. Coming back to like your childhood bedroom that like is just so not the person you are anymore, and like having all this like random shit and like it's not your space and it doesn't feel like your space anymore. And like, side note, like my mom just decided to start renovating like half our house, so now like we're all on one side of the house and like in like another tiny room that's like not mine, and my stuff is everywhere. Not to mention, like, I don't see my fucking friends anymore. Like, I genuinely can't just go like grab a coffee with someone after work or like meet them for lunch. Like, I'm just in a different town, like miles and miles away. And don't even get me started on like the fact that you probably can't even date anyone because your parents are like all up in your business and like you've nowhere to like no space to bring them into. I feel so stupid for complaining about all of this because like people literally like are homeless and dying, and like I'm complaining about being in my parents' house. So, champagne problems.
When y'all complain about living with y'all mamas, I be quiet. Cause I'm at home in my robe. She paid the rent already this month. The Wi-Fi jumping in their hoe. Like, she made breakfast. I had coffee. And it's only 9:23. I could never get this in my own place. I don't know.
Yo, no shade, but I really hate when somebody tries to shame me and be like, oh, you still live with your mom? Like, I'm sorry my mom loved me. I'm sorry my mom didn't kick me out. Like, my mom had shown me nothing but love and support, and yeah, I just be trying to throw shade, but it's like, why don't you live with your mom? Because I know nobody wants to live alone unless they're going through like traumatic shit in their parents' household or they get kicked out. But that's not the case with me. So why y'all trying to shame me? There's no shame in living with your mom. Like, the hell? And before y'all come at me in the comments, like, me and my mom just have that relationship where, like, she could hit me up and be like, yo, I need $2,000 for this, and the third. And guess what? I'm going to show up every single time because there's real love and support in our relationship. And y'all just be hating on the low. That's just how I feel, though.
Whenever I tell people that I live at home, they're always like, oh my God, that sucks. But it's really not that bad. And I'm actually going to tell you a couple of perks about living at home at the age of 24. For starters, I don't pay any bills at all. Okay, actually, I'm lying. I pay my phone bill, but it's only like $100. And to be like completely honest, most of the time my mom will be like, oh, your phone bill's due, but like she'll just pay it for me because we're on a family plan. So she just pays it. But yeah, I don't pay any rent. I don't pay electricity. I don't pay a car note. I don't pay insurance. Like, I don't pay any bills. And before y'all come in my comments like, oh my gosh, that's freeloading, pay your mom something, please. I literally don't even have a job right now. So even if I wanted to pay her, I don't have any money to pay her. But it's just not something she requires. Like, she's like, I was paying these bills before you were here. I'm going to pay them after you leave. Like, it's just not necessary. Stack your money, save your money. I moved home to save money. So that's the whole point. Which brings me to my second point. I don't have a job because I quit my job, and I was able to do that because I wasn't happy there. Like, I was coming home every day miserable, and I told my mom, and she was like, quit. So I quit. And in the past, if I was ever working at a job that I was unhappy at, I really had no choice but to just keep being unhappy and miserable until I found something new. And since I don't have any bills, I don't have to stay and put up with a job that's just mistreating me. So that's probably one of the biggest perks, is being able to quit a job that has me up because, yeah, no. My most fave perk is probably the fact that I don't ever cook or have to cook. Like, me and my mom, we don't cook. That's just not a thing we do. We eat out literally almost every day. And if you think I'm being dramatic, I will literally go put her on camera so she can tell y'all, like, we do not cook. The kitchen is literally just for, like, show. It's just there for decoration. Either she's picking up lunch or dinner, or I'm picking up lunch or dinner. Like, that's just our thing. We love to eat out. That's probably why my back is so big, but we're not talking about that right now. Another huge perk is that I'm able to actually enjoy my weekends. I can't tell you the last time I ever had a Saturday off or a Sunday. Like, literally, I've been working weekends nonstop since I was like 18, 19, because I work in the server industry, and the weekends are like mandatory days you have to work. So I literally never ever had the weekends off. Literally for the last 2 months, I have not worked a Saturday, a Friday, Saturday, sometimes Sunday, and it's life-changing. For example, yesterday, me and my mom went to Dallas to see my brother and my nephews, just for funsies, and like we spent the day there. And today we're getting ready to go to San Antonio for the day to see my little brother and just spend the day there. I say, like, I was literally never, ever, ever able to do stuff like this. Like, I would have to know like months in advance in order to like request off so that I could just go out of town for a day. And even at that, like, I would be stressed about money the whole time. Like, it was just, girl. So honestly, it just allows me to have like a super flexible schedule and just be able to just, I don't know, like breathe and live and do more. And the biggest perk, in my opinion, is that like me and my mom are besties. And don't get me wrong, yes, she gets on my nerves sometimes, but like literally it's like living with your bestie. Like, we have so much fun together. We go eat together, we go do stuff together. Like, we just have fun. And like, literally, what's better than living with your best friend? And to clarify, it's not just like this at my mom's house. It's also like this at my dad's house too. My dad lives in Houston, so I bounce from his house to my mom's house, just like whatever. And same thing, like no bills. I drive his car, and he gives me money. Also, I want to clarify and say that, like, I don't have a curfew. My mom's not strict. If I wanted to have a man over, I could. Not that I ever would. I would never bring a man over to my mom's house. But if I wanted to, I could. Like, yeah, it's literally like I don't really live with my mom, but I do. But anyways, yeah, when people are like, oh my God, it sucks. Like, I couldn't imagine living at home with my mom. Like, bitch, I can and I do. And yeah, it works for me. I think those are like all the perks I can think of. But yeah, me personally, I love living at home, baby. 10 out of 10. So yeah, if you're considering moving back home with your parents to save money or whatever, let's be your sign. Like, do it. But I have to go get ready because I'm leaving in like 10 minutes. So I hope y'all have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.
So I made this comment on someone's video, and she was basically talking about how, like, if you still live with family members, you should have a lot of money stacked up, blah, blah, blah. I understand that some people are able to be grown adults and not have to pay nothing to their parents or whoever they're living with, but that is not the case for a lot of people. A lot of people have to pay rent, have to pay utilities, have to pay bills. If you are a grown adult, most people, like, as far as now, if you are privileged enough to have parents who let you be 30, 40, 20 years old plus, living in a house, not paying nothing, cool. But I'm saying, for the people, it's other people that actually have to pay big ass bills while still living with parents. Like, especially if you come from a low income household, a single parent household, you're getting off some type of money. Like, and it's, especially if you're an adult, like overly grown, you're paying some type of bills. Now, I do know there's people who don't have to pay nothing. They be grown as hell, still living at home, not paying shit. Yes, you should have a savings, but for the people who literally are helping their parents out or even have their parents staying with them, you're definitely paying a lot of bills. I don't know. I guess it's like a generalization that people think just because you stay with family members, you don't have to pay nothing. Honey, people are out here having to pay bills.
You know how some people say it's an ick when the person they're dating still lives at home? They're like, oh, but he still lives at home or she still lives at home. I'm the absolute fucking opposite. If someone still lives at home, I'm like, green flag. Someone who still lives at home is financially responsible. Do you know what I mean? I know that's controversial. Look, obviously there's circumstances where, like, people's parents are fucking psychopaths and they have to leave, right? Or whatever the scenario is. But mate, if I have to put up with my fucking annoying mum and dad for a little bit, love them, but they're annoying, just to save money, I'm going to do it.
Today we're going to talk about why I still live at home at my ripe age of 22. Reason number one is that I simply do not make enough money. Now, I have a bachelor's degree, but for some odd reason, I am not able to find a job in my field. And I know I'm not the only graduate who just can't get a job in their field. People I know have resorted to having to lie on their resume to get hired, and I feel like we should never have to do that. My first job out of college was literally at the Amazon warehouse because that's the only job that I could get. Now I'm working an office job. I make $16, which is considered decent pay, but when you really think about it, it's not enough to pay rent and pay for all the extra crap like furniture, food, etc., etc. Reason number two, I still live at home while I'm 22. People don't talk about this as much, and it could be because they're simply not experiencing it. But when I was in college in my dorm room, there was a point where I was living alone, and my depression and anxiety has never, ever been that bad. Like Kendrick said, I'm an extroverted introvert. Like, I like to be alone, but I don't like to be alone. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I really like being at home and living with my family. I live with 3 other Negroes, my mom, my brother, and my sister, who I love very much, and I love hanging out with them. Being able to see them every day and just live with them and having them accessible at any time is very, very important to me.
If you are a woman living with your parents, living with your family, okay, you're saving up the coin, whatever, stay-at-home daughter, whatever you're doing, never feel shame about it, okay? Yes, it's a double standard. Men can't do it, but women can. It is what it is. But this is how you can use it for dating and how to get ahead and how to get men to respect you off the bat, knowing that you're with family and knowing that you have people that are with you, care about you, are worried about you, wanting to protect you, etc. The number of times I have pulled out the parent card, I don't care if I'm 28, I don't care. The number of times I've pulled out the parent card, my parents would never accept that with a man who wants to be in my life. I have to be home early because of my parents. You know how it is in an immigrant household. Like, you know how it is, okay? No, I can't sleep over at the hotel with you. My parents would look at you like you had no home training. Yes, I'm grown, but I'm not going to disrespect them or myself. So I'm so thankful that you understand that I can't do certain things. This protects you. It actually creates boundaries. And honestly, this dynamic, if you're in it, or even if you're not in it, start using a family card. Honestly, it creates almost like this olden age type of experience where it's like, okay, if the guy can't meet your family directly, he's going to deal with your family's attitude indirectly. Does that make sense? right? Or deal with your family's disapproval, which men can't stand because they're always fighting for approval with their ego. You know, they're going to be fighting for their reputation, okay? There was a time where I put this guy on blast because we were, you know, dating, going on some dates. And he did something to me that was really disrespectful. And I was like, listen, sir, when I went home and I told my parents about what happened, because, you know, they always ask, they were appalled. And they were really questioning my judgment about who I'm even entertaining my time with. And it just made me question if they were right or not. And this guy went into full panic mode. When I tell you, his hands were in his face. He was like, no, no, no. I am so sorry. Like, I'm going to fix it. No, I can't believe I did not want, I don't want your parents to think of me like that. I don't want you to think of me like that. Blah, 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 blah. And I just use the parent card. That's it. Honestly, times where you would think, oh, it's a disadvantage. I should at least living by myself in an apartment, blah, 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 blah. I get it. I understand 100%. Also understand that this, you could say it's a cultural thing. You could just say my parents are really traditional and my parents, you know, they you know, they're kind of old school. You know how they are. You say that, do whatever, okay? Men are not running away. The ones who are running away simply they don't want to be seen, to me, which is dangerous, right? Danger zone. So I just love throwing the parent card in these men's faces. And I'm like, yeah, you know, my daddy was a this, my mom was a this, you know, this is the kind of environment I grew up in. So, you know, I can't just go out with anybody, you know, and these men respect me all the more. So do not feel ashamed if you are not living by yourself quite yet, or you're still establishing yourself or whatever the heck you're doing, having roommates. Just say you have family. Don't say roommate, say family. Big difference.
Welcome to a day in the life of a 27-year-old who still lives at home. I feel like it's so important to show this side of being an adult because I feel like in society, living at home with your parents, it makes you feel like you're not where you should be or like you're behind in life, which just isn't really the case. But anybody who does still live at home has their different reasons for why they do, and I don't think that should be anything to be shameful of. But I wanted to just show this side of life because I feel like it should be shown more. So anyways, I was doing some laundry and then I have a small business, so I had to clear out the downstairs office space because I just moved back into my parents' home and all of my stuff needed to be reorganized and reset up in the downstairs office space. And at first it kind of looks like an episode of Hoarders Buried Alive. But it actually didn't take me too long to clean up everything, like maybe 15 minutes. I really just had to move things out of the way, reset up my shelving, and then put my product back on the shelves. And that is one thing that I am grateful for living at home, is having a space where I can run and operate my small business from. It just makes it super convenient. I can just walk downstairs and go fulfill orders if I need to. But I kind of want to make this like a living at home series. But for now, this was just today.
I'm 27 and I still live at home. Here is a day in my life. So today I actually woke up early enough to do my makeup and look cute. Then I head off to work. It's about a 35-minute drive. I was early enough to grab McDonald's for breakfast and then I head into the office. The very first thing I like to do when I head in is to fill up my Stanley cup, and then I grab some lens wipes for my glasses. And today I said hey to my friend Lydia because she was also in the break room. But for the whole morning, I just eat my breakfast, I sit, I answer calls and emails, and because I work in logistics, I'm auditing invoices until about 1 because that's when I go to lunch. It's lunchtime! Let's go. If you're ever in the area, you have to try out this restaurant. It was so good, and I definitely will be a return customer. They have a new customer. They got a customer in me. And then I'm back working in the office until about 5 o'clock. And you would think, wow, her day must be over. It's not. It's just beginning. I have a real bad habit of signing up for things that I think might be interesting. This is one of those things. I signed up with my job to join our curling team. Okay, we have made it to curling. And then here I am putting on my sweatshirt because it was so cold in this building, you guys. I'm not very good at this at all. But I ended up falling twice and then almost lost my wig as well. So we'll see how this goes. She pushed me on the ice.
No, I didn't.
For dinner, I ended up getting Captain D's, came home, took a shower, took off all my makeup, got into bed. I thought I wanted to watch YouTube, but I ended up starting the Percy Jackson series, and that was my night as a 27-year-old who still lives at home.
So whenever I tell people that I live at home, they're always like, oh my God, that sucks. So they saying, this is a girl on TikTok. She's saying that they looking at her funny because she living in her mama's house. So I could state my piece on it. She had a lot of pros about it, but she has some cons. I mean, like, they're obvious cons, but I live with my mom. So, and I know everybody can't live with their parents. Everybody can't live with their mom. Everybody can't live with their dad. So I understand that. Because I know sometimes you could tell somebody, like, just go back home. And they're like, girl, I can't do that. Like, I understand that because some people can't. Like, hey, some of my other siblings, they just can't do it. They can't do it, you know, and I understand. But I think there's a lot of pros when you can, because I know a lady that is in her 30s, and her brother live with their parents, and it's an amazing, you know, thing. You get to save money, and like, not everybody can do that. Like, not everybody can live with their parents. Not everybody can save money living with their parents. And there's some cons to it. Like, some people's parents be doing the most. Some people's parents require you to scrub the walls and the baseboards, do dishes, and pay bills. And it's just like, okay, at this point, I might as well be on my own. Like, but I think we gotta be smart. You have to be smart if you're an adult living with your parents. Because I still live with my mom. I think it's beneficial. I'm gonna go a little side off real quick. I think it's beneficial to be a single woman living with your parents. I do. Like, if you want to be married, live with your parents. Save money. Like, why waste money? Enjoy life. Save money. And not wait for your husband to come, but like, be available for him to come so you can get out of your mom's house. Like, that's how I think. That's how I think of it. And like, that's a lot of traditions in other cultures. Like, the women still live with their mom or their dad. They still live with their parents. Live with your parents, y'all. If you can, do it. Save money. It's expensive out here. Like, I could live on my own, but why would I do that? Why would I stress myself out? Like, and I stayed at my mom's house until marriage. Like, I think you should do that. I think that's beneficial. Do I think you should I don't know if I can say these words on TikTok, but like whore around and live in your parents' house? No. I think you should keep your legs closed, focus on yourself, travel, do all the cute things that girls want to do, fulfill your dreams. Do I think you should waste your time on a man that is not giving you the time of day and they're not treating you right? No. I think you should wait till marriage. That's what I think you should do, because it's just beneficial. Like, it's beneficial when you live with your parents. You don't have to worry about nothing at all, for real, when you have a parent that you're able to do that to. Sometimes you got to talk with your parents too. Like, if you're living in an apartment or you're living by yourself and you want to go back to your parents' house, they probably gonna let you come because they're lonely. Like, you know, your parents is lonely. Like, when you left, they lonely, so they probably want you to come back. Why not? You save money. Like, and this is what I was gonna say earlier, stack your money when you're with your parents, because if you don't, when you leave, you're gonna be like, dang, I wish I was stacking my money. Because most people, when they hear this in the video, they're not going to do it. They're not going to stack their money. Most people don't. That's why you should do it, because when it's time for you to leave, you already you settled. You've been stacking. You've been enjoying life and saving. Save, because you know you ain't paying all the rent at your parents' house. So save some of that money. And yeah, this video getting long, but yeah, I don't know what else to say.
I get it now. I get why people want to move to New York, because I'll be honest, I did not get it at first. I'd gone for the first time last year with my family. In general, I thought it was like very hot and overstimulating, and there was just so much happening. I did go in summer, so that might have been playing a role, but I just came back from my New York trip where I went by myself to visit my friends. It was still very overstimulating, but the possibilities that are just so abundant in New York in a way that feels inaccessible to me currently living at home as a 24-year-old in the suburbs. I hate to say it, but it's the walkable communities that win again, or the ones that at least have like good public transport. It just makes it so much easier to go out and do things and meet people and be spontaneous. I got dinner with a friend at like 9:30. We stayed out till like 12-ish, and I still felt like I could like keep hanging out, versus my time at home. If someone asked me to hang out at 9:30, I'd ask them if they were nuts. So yeah, it makes sense why people want to move to New York, especially after you graduate from college, because it almost feels like college in that you still have access to people and opportunities, and makes it feel exciting for the future. And I just really miss that feeling.